Okay, some timeline controls and zoom. So for want of a better word, this video could have been called Zoom and Zips in DaVinci Resolve's edit page, but I wouldn't have fitted that on the title. So one of the first things we can do with DaVinci Resolve selected is Command or Control and it's F. That basically takes us into Cinema View or Cinema Viewer. That's basically full screen. So that's Command Control F. Or we can press P as well. So we have those as the default options. Whilst I'm in that mode, I can press P, press space on the keyboard, and actually view my clip. So I can come out of that. Next option we got is Q. This is a toggle. So if I zoom in to this section, and if I press Q, if you're looking for the clip title at the top, you'll see it's on the left hand side. This clip is selected in the source monitor, and then we've got the timeline on the right hand side. So if I zoom out, things you can do with that, obviously press play. I'm pressing the keyboard spacebar, so it's playing what's in the timeline. And if I press Q and space again, it's now playing what's in the source. I can go to obviously P, full screen, press spacebar, spacebar to stop, P to go back to the dual monitors, press Q again. Now I'm on the right hand timeline and press P and then press spacebar. So that's how that works. Next option, we're going to now need a mouse wheel. So assuming you've got one of those, go to the clip in the source. We can move our mouse down or up mouse wheel, so we can zoom in and out using our mouse wheel. You can also use a keyboard shortcut. So if I move that and I want to get it back to a fit, if I press Z, it will then jump, or Z for those who pronounce it Z. So scrolling on my mouse wheel and then pressing Z. That also works on the timeline as well, monitor. So I can zoom out and Z. So if I wanted to zoom in, there's a really flattering shot. For that, I deserve a like. So don't forget to tap like, subscribe. That's painful. Z to zoom out. Also, if you're zooming in and out and you want actual percentages, you've got the drop down there. So if you wanted 100%, you've got that there. Press Z or Z to filter, which is, I don't know, what do they call it here? Fit. Yeah, so Z is basically fit to your constraints. Again, if you were to, there is a line here. If you were to move that, you can increase and decrease that monitor there. Now on the timeline, you can see here, I've disabled this track. So the video's here and it's disabled. But when I play, I was getting the audio of this track because that's on track 3. So I could, if I wanted to, mute it, or if I just want to listen to my main audio, I can tap that and this will solo this audio. So all it's doing is playing that audio. If I select solo, I can select it from there. Or if I've got the mixer open, I can, whoa, that was fun. I can select it from there to solo that track. So that's useful if you're toggling and playing back and then you've got multiple tracks on. So that's how that works. Now the next one is to actually zoom in on the content on the timeline, both video and audio, and adding extra glasses does not work. In fact, it makes everything blurred, but we can use our shift key. So if we hold our shift key using our mouse wheel, so if we're on the video tracks, I can scroll up and down and that will scale the thumbnails on there and also the track line itself. And I can also come down to where the audio is and do the same there to expand the audio waveforms. Additionally, if I come to this zoom in so you can see, we have timeline view options. If I click that and scroll down, if I scroll down, I can't do both. Let's go try again. Yeah, here you'll see we have video and audio, and I can control that using that as well. So that's the track height and the audio. So if I don't want to use my mouse wheel, or for some reason I haven't got a mouse wheel, so holding the mouse wheel down with shift, and that also works on Windows. So if I bring a window over, so this is Windows, that works as well. And again, same with the audio. Hey, I look at that. Can you see we have Windows and Mac all playing together like friends? Steve Jobs and Bill Gates would be proud. This one's a fairly new edition, so you definitely need to make sure you're on the latest version of DaVinci. I think it's 20.1, and that's C. So the letter C just on the keyboard. So the C will move the timeline to where the mouse is. So if you can see, my mouse is on the right hand side, and if I press C on the keyboard, the time playhead will move to there. If I come to the left, press C, this allows me basically to, obviously if I press down I can scrub through, but if I'm here, press C, whereas before it was a case of coming up. So if I was here, I would have to jump to this area of the timeline at the top and press that. Now you can save a moment, so if I'm here and I want the playhead here, just press C and then the playhead will jump. Now again, using our mouse wheel in combination with the Alt or Option key on the timeline itself, I can, holding down the Option, zoom in and zoom out. So again, Option key down or Alt key, wheel going up, so I'm actually zooming in and spinning the wheel down, so I've zoomed out. So that's allowing me to zoom in on the timeline. It does follow the mouse pointer, so if my mouse pointer is over here on the far right and I zoom in, it's going to be zooming in there. And if I want to come back, if I press Shift and Z, that will fill the timeline up to the full extent. So on the, if I zoom in here to go through these, you will see we've got full extent, we have detail zoom and custom zoom. So full extent, if I press that, that's basically all the clips, regardless of how big they are and how long it is, it will fit in that space. There is an option if you've got the luxury of two monitors and you know DaVinci Resolve. I wouldn't do this if you don't know DaVinci Resolve, because you will get lost like I did, maybe. So if we go to Workspace, and if I go to dual screen, if I press that on, it will split across two screens. I can't show you, where's my phone? No. So we've got stuff, I've got two stuff, all my assets and audio is on the left screen, and the actual edit page and timeline is on the right. You can actually see what's on the right. Now I'm getting used to DaVinci Resolve, and I don't want to be in a situation where I've lost stuff. So I'm going to go dual screen off by selecting on, and that moves everything back to the one screen. But if you have got loads of real estate and then you want to zoom in and stuff like that, you know, that's an option. So that's at Workspace and dual screen. So going back to the zoom options, so if I zoom in so you can see, so full extent, as I said, that would get all the clips within that screen view. I can go detail view if I press that, so it'll allow me to zoom in on clips. Hold on, I shouldn't do that. Now if I zoom in either with the mouse, so holding Option, I come off those two default zooms there and there, it now goes to custom zoom, which is that one at the end, which if you think about it, the presets is extended, or the zoom. Now if I make alterations with the mouse or here, it's going to a custom zoom. That's what that option there is. Using the custom zoom isn't terribly accurate, So when we move down, it tends to just jump. One option is what you want to use is the command on the Mac or the control on the window. So let's go command, and then you want to use the plus and minus on the main keyboard, not on the numeric keypad. I don't know how this would work on mapping it to a Stream Deck, but so if we go command on the Mac, control on Windows, and then plus and minus, you will see, if I zoom in on that there, is this confidently, so plus and minus, control or command. So command on the Mac, plus and minus will allow you to move in. The nice thing about the custom, I'll zoom off at that again, if that's the level of zoom you want, and if I go back to the full extended and then I go back to custom, it retains that zoom level. So if there's a particular zoom level you like to operate within in the details, that's maintained within that zoom there. So if I toggle between the two, you will see the custom zoom level is maintained. I'm going to see you in the next DaVinci Resolve video. If you have found it helpful, don't forget to tap subscribe.